It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a new theory that could possibly connect the new group that was recently introduced in Season 10, Episode 17, called The Reapers, and a group that we've seen before, the Civic Republic Military, or the CRM, the group that's responsible for Rick's disappearance, and they're the group that's going to be at the center of The Walking Dead movies. I call this theory the Pope Marked You PPP theory. You could find a better name for it, but that's the best I could do for now. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break down this theory. Alright, as always, before we get into this, if you are not a subscriber, consider subscribing to join our community, share and smash the like button, and press the bell to be notified when we upload. Alright, so as far as the Reapers go, I've done 2 other videos talking about this group extensively, and I still stand by all of the comments and opinions that I had about them in the other videos that I did, so I'm not going to repeat myself. I will leave link cards to the 2 other videos that I did so you can go and check it out if you're interested. But in this video, we're going to dive a little deeper into something that one of the Reapers said in the last episode. This Reaper, who's obviously the only Reaper that we saw, and he actually died in the same episode, but right before he blew himself up, he said, "Pope marked you." Like I mentioned in my other video, it looked like Maggie knew exactly who Pope was and what this guy was talking about. But I do see a division, you could say, in the fandom, because there's some people who don't think that that's accurate and that it didn't seem like Maggie knew the person. But regardless of whether Maggie knows Pope or not, who is Pope? That's where things become interesting. Now, I've talked a little bit about this in my other video as well, but what if there's a connection between Pope, or not even a connection, but what if Pope is the name of the new character that will be introduced, who's gonna appear in the episode that's centered around Father Gabriel and Aaron? This character, whose code name is Maze, or that's the name that we've been given based on the table read, is going to be portrayed by Robert Patrick. Now, the reason why I say that this could be a code name, they could have used a fake name in the table read to throw us off. Now, the reason why I think Maze could be Pope is because if we take a look at some of the scenes Maze is going to appear in, based on the teasers and trailers, Maze is dressed in a military outfit. One that is very similar to how the Reapers are dressed. Of course, we haven't seen many of them, but based on how one of them is dressed, I think it's safe to assume that all of the Reapers are going to be dressed in some sort of a uniform that's very close to what Maze is wearing. Now, that's not even the most impressive part of this theory, because yes, Maze could be Pope, but then what does that mean? Now, before I answer that question, I'm gonna take you back to the episode that was a Heath and Tara-centric episode. If you remember, in that episode, right before Heath disappeared, we saw a card with the letters PPP. And obviously the person that left this card was most likely the same exact person that was responsible for Heath's disappearance. Now, of course, we know at this point that Heath was taken away by the CRM. He was actually traded into the CRM by Jadis or Anne. Now, when this was first released, there wasn't a name to the CRM, and we didn't even have a logo for the CRM. And based on some things that I've heard, it looks like maybe at that point they wanted to use this symbol for the CRM. And by this symbol, I mean this symbol that was on the card that said PPP. Regardless of whether that's accurate or not, the PPP on the card is definitely associated to the CRM. Now, what's interesting is how this could possibly relate back to what we saw from the Reapers, because the member of the Reapers said, "Pope marked you." Now, obviously, the biggest clue in that is Pope. Pope starts with the letter P, and there's 3 P's on the card. You could look at this in 2 different ways. Either PPP means that Pope marked them 3 times, Or maybe this is just how Pope marks his victims or the people that he's after. Now, the other interesting thing about this is if we take it to be the first way, where PPP means that they were marked 3 times, or Pope marked them 3 times, that was actually relatively accurate, because you could say the first P is for Heath, and the fact that the CRM marked and took Heath away. The second P could be that they marked Jadis and they took Jadis away. And the third P could be that they marked, or at least were interested in, taking Rick away. So that's extremely interesting. Now, if we go back to what I mentioned in my other video, when it comes to the Reapers, and they could be some sort of a Black Ops team responsible for going out and eliminating some of the threats that they find, you could kind of connect the dots, because maybe the reason Pope or the CRM marked, let's say, Heath, Jadis, and Rick is because they saw them either as a threat or something along those lines. Now, obviously, you could make that case with Jadis and Rick, because obviously Jadis knew a lot about the CRM, and maybe they realized that Rick may have become a threat later on, because he did see their helicopter, let's not forget that. But it is still a little unclear, if this is accurate, of course, why the CRM would find Heath a threat. But again, all of this is speculation, so obviously we're not going to be able to connect the dots all the way. There's going to be some missing pieces to this theory. Now, the last thing I want to mention is related to Maze. Let's assume Maze is actually Pope, and let's assume that Pope marks its victims or people that he's after. Does that not then explain why he would be after Aaron and Gabriel? Because we do know that he will engage in a game of Russian roulette with Father Gabriel and Aaron. Now, all this time, we were thinking that he just runs into them at random. But what if it's not random? What if Maze was actually after Aaron and Gabriel in the first place? What if he marked them? You know what I mean? So that also makes this theory extremely interesting and connects the dots a little more. But I want to know everyone's thoughts and opinions about this theory. What do you think about the Reapers? Do you think there's a real connection between the Reapers and the CRM? Who do you think Pope is? Do you think Pope is Maze, or those are two different people? And what do you think of the phrase Pope marked you? Do you think that could in any way, shape, or form be related to the key card that we saw when Heath went missing? So share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to join our community, share and smash the like button, and press the bell to be notified when we upload. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.